Hi guys, today we have Omar. I've been knowing Omar for past 10 years, I bet. Yeah, like since 2013.
10 years.
Yeah, and I've been familiar with all his ventures. Very creative entrepreneur, did a lot of stuff. Basically, we're gonna talk about him today. Tell us what you're doing right now.
Right now, the main focus is mushrooms, Culture Mushrooms, which is the newest startup that I launched 2 years ago. And we're based in Long Beach. Launched with two flagship products, the tea, which is an iced tea infused with mushrooms, functional mushrooms, non-psychedelic, and then a coffee that's infused with mushrooms. And we have retail locations, like here in LA, we sell in Erewhon and Lazy Acres, Bristol Farms, which are cool grocery stores that understand health and wellness.
So you want to focus on functional mushrooms?
Functional mushrooms and mental health and physical wellness, understanding the brain and where society's moving and how plants and medicine can help those things. We're starting to grow mushrooms that contain increased levels of certain compounds like baeocyasin or adenosine. These are things that...
Too technical.
Too technical. That's why it's just compounds and ingredients. It seems to increase the potential for mental health cures once we extract these chemicals. And that's, I would say, where my brain's going the most is how do we use these to benefit the brain? We did release maybe 20, 30 other products alongside of the tea and the coffee, but those are more medicinal based, like extracts, capsules, pure powders of individual mushrooms that people can take. And we have a very small boutique operation where we concentrate a lot on the genetics. The most interesting new genetic we found is a mushroom from Costa Rica that grows on a volcano.
Okay.
And we capture that mushroom, brought it here, and now we grow that mushroom here in the US in our lab.
I know that you have your retail location and you have tiny grow inside. You growing stuff inside and you selling, or you manufacturing into different products, or what do you actually do?
Most of the growing there is for people within the vicinity or the area who want us to grow their bags for them that they can't grow at home. We'll grow it for them, write their name on it, text them, hey, your bag will be ready in 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks we'll say, hey, come by, we're gonna harvest your mushrooms. And so we can grow the mushrooms for them, they'll come and we do all the heavy work. And then the other part of the room is growing a ton of medicinal mushrooms like reishi and lion's mane. The lion's mane can potentially slow down the aging process of the brain without getting too technical. And then reishi can potentially slow down the aging process of the body. And by slowing down aging, that's a stupid term to use, but you're increasing immunity by using the reishi, and you're increasing neuroplasticity or nerve growth within the brain using lion's mane. So they're two super important mushrooms. We put them in our teas, coffees, beverages that we make.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, every time I'm in Erewhon, I see your coffee or tea. Yeah, from time to time
it's exciting to see it.
Yeah, it's and you know that you see the product on the shelf and you know the person behind it.
It's
and
fun.
I know you're passionate, how you're passionate about it. I
Thank
remember
you.
you gave us a case of it. Strong thing.
Yep.
Most definitely. I like it. Yeah.
We put a lot of work into developing both of them, the tea and the coffee. I'm not a professional in tea and coffee, but I approached a coffee connoisseur. I tested 30 different coffees, and that's how we picked the bean. And then went to the best roaster, roasted it 10 different ways, figured out how do we roast it, and then found the best extract makers. I've already accepted the fact that I'm not going to become a professional in every sphere I want to get into.
Okay.
So just find whoever the genius is. However you need to find them and work with them.
Business is all about creation of team. Once you can create a good team, you're all set.
You don't need to work that hard.
If you have this knowledge, that's it. Tell us your entrepreneurial path. Where did you find ideas? How you got to the point where you're at right now?
Yeah. I think to simplify it in one sentence, it's finding a solution. Since a young age, I just figured out I just wasn't the best at a lot of things, but I was really good at solving problems. So that fit me into society pretty quickly. The path would start with the Runners LLC, which is still my LLC I put all my companies under. But it's a courier service. I was 19, 20. I figure there's a lot of rich people who need stuff delivered for them, whether it be donuts in the morning to their office or a document signed and brought back to them. I just figured there's a need here. So I put a magnet on the side of my car that I had at the time and printed some business cards on, I think, 4imprint.com, and it was like 20 bucks, and I would just sneak my way into big buildings like this, and then I'd drop my cards off and like not solicit heavy, but just, hey, I do deliveries, hit me up anytime. I hope you have an amazing day. You look great today. Compliment, make people feel good, leave your info, get the hell out. I did that over and over, and then slowly but surely I'd get hit, hey, you know, I remember you walked in, we have this delivery today. Can you do it for $30? Sure. I'll beat whatever your current courier is. And so I would do these and then show them that my service is better. Then I realized I can't compete on price. At a very young age, realized can't compete on price. Anyway, did that for like 2-3 years, made a little bit of money, and a guy at a restaurant called me, a friend of mine who was running his restaurant to the ground. He said, you know, come partner with me. Ended up getting involved in the restaurant, Hookah Lounge restaurant. 5 years later, within those 5 years, I bought him out. Those 5 years went by, I sold the lounge restaurant. 6 years, I kind of didn't know what to do with my life after I sold it. I have 2 other companies I'm running, but they're not paying my bills. What do I do? So I doubled down on Alpaca Bowls, which is my hookah bowl company. And I just took all the money I had left and started traveling the world and kind of figured out where I want to position myself. Started traveling back and forth to Europe, opened up a ton of relationships, and then started bringing American products to Europe. So then for the past 5 years since I sold the lounge, I was just bringing products to Europe, and I'm currently doing that today. And then 2 years ago, I launched Culture Shrooms, which was a passion project, you could say, that I thought was something that could propel my entrepreneurship forever. Culture, I think, can be timeless, and so that's what I wanted to start next, was a timeless business. And now here we are in culture.
That's really cool and exciting. The question about your business, that you've been building a relationship, traveling to Europe, all the people like, okay, I have this idea, I'm gonna bring this product either here or distribute to other country. Where are you usually gonna find the money? Your case, where did you find money?
The power of $2,000 is underestimated for sure. Like every company I've started pretty much started with like $2,000. So that was a power that I figured out young, that when you have a lot of time and you don't have a lot of money, you don't need as much money as these big companies. Like for a big company to just change one thing, it's gonna take them a bunch of systems and employees, and they spent 50 grand to just change one thing in their company. Small time, you can change on the dime. You could put $200 here. If it doesn't work, you put another two. By that fifth 200, you know, now you're $1,000 in. You can get a flow going and figure out, okay, that one of those 5 made more than the other 5. Let me double down with that. Rest of that 1,000, I'm gonna put it all in that best performing 200 product. And then I did that over and over, and every company started with like 2,000, except Culture, this newest one. Now that I've made money, I was able to like put in more
dump
money.
A little bit more.
So it was just like leveling up, taking that 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and people think it should go 2 to 4 in like a month, or some people think a year. Like, no, this shit needs to go tomorrow. If I put 2 in, tomorrow I need to turn that into 4.
I see.
Like, you got to flip until the company's moving, until you can put people under the company that are now living from this new animal. Then you can step out and let it flow naturally. But in the beginning, without a lot of money, you got to just hustle that first 90 days, 6 months, nonstop, 100-hour weeks, and then it'll happen.
A lot of work gonna bring good results.
I mean, you do it in all of your stuff as well. That's what it's about. It's just caring about it like it's your baby. You put a lot of your energy when it comes to like how the vibe is gonna be, what is the feel, what is the product gonna look like, what is my demographic, who am I going to be attracting? Those things are important. You can't go into a business and not care about the demographic and care about you. That company will fail unless they have a ton of money behind them.
And even if it's a ton of money, it's still
it'll fail.
You need to care about stuff. Tell us about obstacles you overcame.
An obstacle should just be a learning experience, and that should not be viewed as an obstacle. We put the term obstacle and linked it to a situation that may be negative. But would you rather live a life that doesn't show you anything? Like, we're blessed to have gotten that vision. Now, of course, tragedy, death, these kind of things throughout family, I'm leaving out of this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm talking about business obstacles or money obstacles or things like that are recoverable. Nobody disappeared from the planet. Our loved ones are still by us.
Yeah.
That's a different issue. These are all manageable obstacles. You got to get past that like detrimental thought of everything's falling apart. That's when you can come up with the most creative ideas. I mean, physically, we release cortisol when we're stressed out.
Yeah.
Your blood pressure now goes up and your body is physically telling you something's off here. But if we can shift that to just find a solution really quickly, your body's telling you find a solution, you won't have as much of those moments. It gets easier, I feel, as you just get used to the fact that shit's fucked up. It's gonna, every day, something's gonna hit the fan. The more you can deal with that, the more money you'll make, 100%. I've been screwed over and all the obstacles have occurred. So now I've realized just keep a very small, tight-knit, well-rounded circle of people shooting for a similar goal and don't concentrate on anyone else.
What is your mindset usually? Like, you wake up, you like, I'm gonna crush it, or like, do you feel sometimes yourself down?
I wake up and I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on here? Shitstorm. Obviously the phone and text, like, I have to get into the normal process of corporate world and responding to the staff and making sure everyone's Gucci. But in my world, it's really just a lot of pacing, checking the same things in my house over and over while I'm figuring out how to plan my day for about an hour. And then once I get off the phone calls and all that craziness in the morning, try to give myself like 10 minutes of Zen, light some sage, like, okay, let's plan this day here.
I see. What is your plans for culture shrooms? Like, what is the next step, and how big you want to be? What do you want to do with this?
How big? I think everybody's shooting for the moon, but
of course.
How big can it be depends on how quickly society will absorb the mission we're on. So I am codependent on the world we live in. You know, I could do as much as I want, but if people don't believe in our mission or what we're doing or me or whatever, it's not as easily achievable. It's a long-term thing. I think it's a 20-year project before culture putting mushrooms on the moon or something cool like that. Yeah.
But do you want to do like exit, or you want to continue with this business forever?
I think like everything has a number. I don't ever start a company planning for an exit. I always start my companies planning for a profitable model that can organically grow. When I built my restaurant, I had no idea I was gonna sell it. I was just hustling, trying to pay my bills. We were young, trying to figure it out at the time, and I didn't know someone was gonna buy it. And then my insurance agent, who sees my numbers, is the one who's like, I wanna buy this thing.
Oh, really?
And
Your
that's who
insurance
bought
agent?
it. Yeah, the owner of the company that insured my restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you never thought that you're gonna sell?
No.
So,
he just like called me one day, hey, I want a restaurant. I've always seen you're constantly growing every year. You're young, sell it to me. I'm old, I have money. I can triple the sales and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, perfect. It's a win-win.
Do you regret selling business?
No, I don't regret anything, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't. I've never had that chunk of money in my hands. For 5 years, I barely had over $4,000. And then to see over a few $100,000 show up, it was a good feeling. I've never had that. And that's what changed the game for sure, is that chunk of money that then I invested properly in my current companies. And half of it, I took that risk of just going to travel the world for a goal, not to go take a picture on the beach and send to my friends. It was like, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna find a trade show, I'm gonna meet people, I'm gonna tell them I'm from America and I wanna bring high-end American products to your country. They digged it.
What advice are you gonna give to a person who already started doing something, pursuing his idea, but he's struggling, or like lack of money, or like lack of motivation because it was like too many obstacles?
Lack of money is a tough one.
Yeah.
This is still the land of like opportunity and American dream, but it's not as easy to get money if you don't already have money.
Yeah.
So the not having money thing you can't solve. It's going to be bullshit, really hard. You just got to flip, and get to that 10 grand in your account. With money, it gets easier in your business. The beginning startup is so hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard to just stay. And it takes a year, I would say, to just get to that point where you can start having a decent chunk to work with in your company. And then the second year is like maybe making $1,000 or $2,000 a month. Then the third year, like, oh shit, I just made 15 in 1 month. What the hell just happened? And then you might have a down month or two, but then you know it's possible. Now you're on, you're not out. But it takes time.
Would you choose to do your businesses or go work for a company, get a nice education, and like go work for a corporation?
I think both are possible. I could have easily went and got a job for a company that is a creative company and wants to do things and values me, and I could have been maybe just as creative working for them. I just think it's harder in entrepreneurship to find somebody else who's going to value you more than you know your own brain. If you're going to start companies and stuff, just do it for yourself. If you want stability, get a job. Do you want to try to set up some goals here in this video, and maybe we're going to do an interview in a few years? Just hopefully, honestly, getting the opportunity to sit with a good friend who's doing podcasts in business. It would be fun to do it again in 3 years. And I'm excited to see in 3 years where we do the interview. Hopefully a big building. Helicopter pad. We'll see. Thanks, dude. Thank you.